Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Flight Podcast. My name is Jacob Shanker.
And I'm Andrew Thomas.
Shut up and sit down.
The first round of the playoffs are underway, and it has been nothing but amazingness and awesomeness. Jacob, what is your reaction to the first round?
You're 100% right. It's lived up to all the hype, all the expectations that have just been building up over the past couple months, and it's just been upset with the Magic beating the Bucks, the Trailblazers beating the Lakers, and the Mavericks and the Clippers going at it. Every single series has been so much fun to watch, and it's just been a great time, and I think it's a great playoff so far. But the best playoff performance I've seen so far is definitely that 57-point game that Donovan Mitchell had against the Nuggets in Game 1. So, Andrew, I want to know your thoughts on that performance.
Well, it was absolutely outrageous, and I think the even bigger shocker is that it ended up in an L. I was absolutely shocked to find out that, I didn't watch OT, but I was shocked to find out that the Jazz didn't win. It was kind of sad to see that performance go down the drain a little bit, but at the same time, it was so good because Donovan Mitchell was on fire the entire night, and it kind of sucked the fact that Jamal Murray was so clutch that night. But it was nothing but spectacular for Donovan Mitchell.
You're 100% right. That game was definitely a lot of fun to watch. I was able to watch that and OT, and I got to say, yeah, Donovan Mitchell and the Jazz, they were playing amazing, but it was not as much and could not do as much to stop the Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic greatness because they were just clutch and were making shot after shot and helping their team get better and better. And they were just amazing that whole entire game. So I got to give them props to that. But another series that has been a lot of fun to watch is that Heat and Pacers series. I mean, TJ Warren and Jimmy Butler just going at each other. And, I mean, TJ Warren hasn't been doing as well. Do you think that this cold streak for him is going to continue, or do you think he's going to get back on that amazing run that he had in the bubble?
Well, his cold streak is going to end, but at the same time, he's not going to be the bubble TJ Warren. He's going to be good TJ Warren, not, oh my goodness, TJ Warren. TJ Warren is going to be, in my opinion, I think he'll be a 20 points per game scorer because he wasn't awful today, but he wasn't great. And I think that if he gets 20 points, then they have a much better chance of winning. I can see the Pacers winning the next 2 games, and I don't see the series going past 6 because Jimmy Butler is just going to do so good. And I think that the Heat are going to win this in 6, which I think that you agree with me on that, right?
Yeah, I can agree with the Heat winning in 6. I mean, Jimmy Butler, though, has been playing some amazing D on TJ Warren. I mean, yeah, I do think that eventually this cold streak will end for him. But, I mean, going forward, yeah, I definitely don't think he's going to be able to be as good as he was in the bubble. But I could see him going 20 points per game. I mean, I could see him averaging as much as he did in the regular season. I mean, he's a great player, but he's not that great. He's not a top player that you would want to have.
Oh,
But
of course not.
no, yeah, but I definitely could see him doing great in the league.
Yes, I agree with you on that.
As the NBA draft lottery has ended, there has been a lot of shockers, and I want to hear your first reactions, Andrew.
Well, I have a piece of paper in front of me. It's completely empty. The first 3 words are, Dear James Dolan. I'm thinking about writing, I am so sorry for the fact that you have the worst franchise ever. The New York Knicks got the 8th pick in the NBA draft, and it is absolutely hilarious. With all of the drama that's been going on with the Knicks, with Spike Lee and everything, it's a bit of karma, but at the same time, you got to feel bad for the Knicks because they were championship teams possibly in the early 2010s with Carmelo and Amar'e Stoudemire, and now their best player is Julius Randle and arguably RJ Barrett, which is terrible, absolutely horrible. You got to feel for the Knicks.
You know, I'm going to have to change that letter that you're writing to James Dolan to Dear Knicks fans, because it's not James Dolan. James Dolan is a bad owner. It's the Knicks fans. they've been disappointed every single year, and I just feel sorry for them. But I gotta
Well,
say,
yeah,
the New York Knicks fans are some of the most loyal fans I've ever seen. Sticking with them through
absolutely, absolutely.
everything. Everything, even from last year's catastrophe, they are still sticking with them this year, and they're still hopeful. But I think the hope's about to end soon because they got the eighth pick. They weren't even able to get top five, which I think was just sad and terrible for me. But
Yeah,
I think the Warriors able to get that second pick, I think that's gonna definitely shot. That's gonna hurt the NBA as they're going to go on a monster run once everybody's healthy on the team. Once Steph and Clay are back, they're going to have an insane starting five with whoever they draft because there are a ton of great players. Hopefully, they draft a big man, though, as that'll definitely help their team.
yeah. For me, it's obvious that they should go with James Weissman because I think personally, I think the Timberwolves they need a guard, and obviously they're not going to go for a center because they have Karl Anthony Towns. So and they're kind of weak after losing Wiggins. So Anthony Edwards will fill that void. And obviously, the Warriors, their problems, even when they were winning championships, was that they didn't have a strong enough big man. And with James Weissman, he's 7'1", 240. He is a bright young man. He'll have a bright future ahead of him.
Yeah, I gotta agree with you on that. I mean, he's definitely an amazing player. So why don't we get right into this? Since as the NBA draft is getting closer and closer, I want to hear your top five spots. So who you got at for the number fifth pick? For the fifth pick with the Cleveland Cavaliers, who do you think that they are gonna pick?
The Cleveland Cavaliers. At number 5, I predict Onyeka Okongwu from USC. He's 6'9". He's a phenomenal defender. And right now, I think that with his height, they should probably put him down to power forward because they obviously have Andre Drummond. And, well, they do have Kevin Love also, but I think that Kevin Love is starting to age. He's getting older. And as Love gets older, Onyeka Okongwu is going to get better. And the Cavs need the defense. They absolutely need it. So that's what I got number 5. Who you got number 5 for the Cavs, Jacob?
Number 5, I think the Cavs are going to get Precious Ochiwa. I think that Onyeka is going to get picked up earlier in the draft. I mean, I think he's an incredible player. Like you said, I think he's definitely deserving of that starting spot. Definitely, I mean, arguable even top 3 in this draft. I mean, there's a lot of great talent that's going on in this draft, but I really think that Precious is going to be a great fit for the Cavs. I mean, given if Onyeka is still available, I think the Cavs should pick him up, but I don't think that he will be. I mean, I think Precious, he was amazing. He got the points up. He was able to get the boards. He has the defense on great numbers. I think that he's a great all-around player, and I think that he will be able to help the Cavs as their biggest issue is really their big man position and their power forward. And like you said, Kevin Love is getting older. He's not playing as well as he did. So I think that Precious is going to be able to help them in that position.
Hmm. Well, and also with the first name Precious, you're always going to get fans in there.
Exactly. Who do you got, though, for that Bulls pick at number 4?
For the Bulls, this is slightly rare, but I think that with the top 3 picks, I don't think LaMelo Ball goes in the top 3. He's a phenomenal talent, but I just don't think that these teams need him. The Chicago Bulls absolutely need him because he's a pure point guard. He's 6'7". This will help their starting lineup greatly. It'll help their bench out greatly. And so they'll have a starting lineup of LaMelo Ball, Zach LaVine, Otto Porter, Lauri Markkanen, and Wendell Carter Jr. That's a good starting lineup. And with LaMelo, we don't know how good he's going to be, but he's definitely going to be good. So who do you got at number 4 for the Bulls?
I don't got LaMelo Ball. I mean, I'm not going to put shade to LaMelo Ball. I think he's an incredible player. I'm not saying that I don't think he's a top 5 talent. I just don't think that these top 5 teams with the Cavs, Bulls, Hornets, Warriors, and Timberwolves, I don't think that they need LaMelo Ball. I don't think any of them need LaMelo Ball. I mean, the top five, I think the only guard that we're going to see is Anthony Edwards, and he's just remarkable. But I really think that at number 4, I could see Onyeka going. I mean, the one thing that I think the Bulls need is I don't think they need a guard. I think the guard position is good. They have Chris Dunn, who I think is one of the most underrated defenders in the league. He's absolutely amazing and helps the Bulls defense tremendously. They have Kobe White coming off the bench, who is an amazing rookie. He was amazing, extremely underrated, and had an amazing season this year. And they, of course, they have Zach LaVine, who's their star player, who's going to help get them to whatever spot they can get to in this next coming season. So I think that they need Onyeka because they really need that big man position. I think Lauri Markkanen has been disappointing. I think Wendell Carter Jr. has been fine, but I think that they need an even better center, an even better big man to push them in that big spot rotation.
All right. Well, the Charlotte Hornets have been blessed with the number 3 pick. I say they take Obi Toppin from Dayton. I think that with him and PJ Washington, the Hornets can become pretty damn good. They weren't terrible this year. They weren't great, obviously. They weren't terrible, though. They were all set at that guard position with Devontae Graham. And I think that with Obi Toppin and PJ Washington, they'll be set for the offense on the big man side.
Yeah, I mean, I have to Obi Toppin on there also. I mean, I think he is a great small forward. I think the one position that the Hornets need is a forward. They have their point guard with Terry Rozier. I mean, they have Cody Martin starting at their forward, who is he's okay. That's the thing.
I honestly didn't even know who Cody Martin is last year.
There you go. Exactly. Not many people even know who he is. He's okay. He's not the best, and I think Obi Toppin is definitely going to help them because again, he's one of those players where his all-around game is great. He's one of the best all-around players in this draft. One of the best players in this draft. I think he's going to help the Hornets. I don't think that they're going to be at significantly better than they were this year, but I definitely think that they will be better than they were last year if they can draft Obi Toppin.
Yeah, at this rate, no diss to the Hornets, but at this rate, anybody can help the Hornets.
Exactly, anybody could help them. Who do you got for your number 2 pick with the Warriors?
Obviously, as I said, James Wiseman, an extreme talent. It was really upsetting to me when the NCAA suspended the Memphis Tigers and they only played 3 games. But out of those 3 games, I watched one of them. And I never watched college basketball, but I watched one of their games. And James Wiseman was so good that game. He also fits into the Warriors greatly. As I said, the Warriors' problems have always been that they don't have a strong big man. Wiseman's 7'1", he's 240. He'll be great. He'll help them out a lot. And I think that the Warriors are obviously next year with Clay and Steph healthy, they're again probably going to get a championship or go to the finals or conference finals. But they're definitely a championship contender next year.
I 100% will agree with you with James Wiseman. If I'm being honest, I mean, a player that I think he represents, I mean, obviously I don't think he's going to be as good as that player, but I think a player he represents is Shaquille O'Neal. They're both great on the scoring end. They're both great rebounders, and they're both great on the defensive end. And James Wiseman has all of those things. Given the fact that he only played those 3 games, he was able to show out so much in the limited minutes that he was given. He only averaged 23 minutes, which all of these guys that we have listed so far for the top 5, they've all averaged over 30 minutes. Most of the top guys, most of the star guys that you'll see in this draft have averaged over 30 minutes. And he's one of those guys where he's, with the minutes that he's given, he's going to do so much and try and produce so much as he can.
Yeah. Also,
I got that. Yeah.
Also some stats for James Weissman. He's averaging 20 points, 3 blocks, 11 rebounds, 77% from the field, and 70% from the free throw line.
I mean, that free throw line isn't that great, but the field, that's definitely
well, comparative to some big men, it's definitely okay.
Yeah, definitely. Comparative to some big men like Shaq with his free throw, definitely a lot better. But for number one, who do you got the Timberwolves picking?
I think that it's fairly obvious. Obviously, I think you have the same. Anthony Edwards, shooting guard from Georgia, 6'5", 225. That rhymes. He's going to be great. Starting lineup with D'Angelo Russell and Karl-Anthony Towns. It's going to be very special offensively. Defensively, you're going to have some concern, but look at the Blazers. They're one of the best offensive teams, and they won against the Lakers, probably second, third best team in the NBA. So the Timberwolves are going to be better next year, especially if Towns is more healthy. And I honestly think he's going to go on a tear. I think the Timberwolves are going to be a possible playoff team.
Yeah, I can agree with that. Well, yeah, I do have Anthony Edwards as my pick for number one. He was amazing this whole year. He got the points up. He got all the rebounds, the assists. He got everything up, everything that he needed to be. And I think he was the best. He's going to be the best guard in this draft. I think the Timberwolves are going to use him greatly. I think he's going to fit into that rotation with D'Angelo Russell and Cat. I think it's definitely going to help their team a lot. And like you said, honestly, they could make the playoffs. I think if they can draft Anthony Edwards, and I think that they could be a playoff team. It's just a matter of how well D'Angelo Russell can do. If he can do as well as he did on the Nets, and how well Cat is going to do. That's all for today. Thanks for listening, everyone. Don't forget to follow us on social media.
Feel free to comment down below who you have in your top 5 of the draft lottery and what your thoughts have been on the first round, because it's been awesome.
Thanks for listening. See you guys next time.